Hey everybody, in this video we're going to talk about how to do our very first assignment, which is to take a portrait photograph of someone, make it black and white, put their name on it, export it as JPEG, and then to turn it in. So we're going to start from the beginning. I'm going to open up Adobe Creative Cloud, which is a little rainbow looking app here, and I want to make sure that I am using Lightroom Classic. Now, Lightroom Classic, if you click, you should be able to find down here. If you can't find it there, you want to look for it here and install it. Make sure that you're logged in to your Adobe Creative Cloud account using your ID number at dentonstudent.org email address. Once you've found Lightroom Classic, not regular Lightroom, but Lightroom Classic, you're going to open it and use it. It will look like this. It looks like this because we currently have no photos in it, so what we're going to do is import some photos into it. I'm going to make sure that I'm at my library section by clicking on the library tab up at the top. It should default to that. And just like it says, we're going to click on the import button to begin. The import button is in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to click on it. Once you do that, if you have your SD card plugged into the back of the computer, it should automatically pull up any images that you have on your SD card. We're not going to worry about the stuff on the right for now. That stuff is all very handy, it's very useful. For now, we're just going to leave it how it is, and we're going to make sure that we have the picture that we want checked. So we're going to check the little box that says include in import. You can make it bigger or smaller with these buttons down here at the bottom. So once it's checked, the one that we want is checked, we're going to hit once again the word that says import. This time it's now on the bottom right hand side. When you do that, that brings the image from your SD card into Lightroom. Lightroom saves everything that you do automatically. What we want to do for this one right now is just give it a nice basic edit. So I'm going to go over here to the develop section. That is where you can do all of your editing. There's all these different sections. Yours might at first be closed off. If you want to get into a section, you just hit the little triangle beside it over here on the right. We will explore all of these in depth later on, but for now I just encourage you to use what you find interesting. What we're going to do is make this picture black and white. And if you look near the top, there's a little button that just says black and white, and we're going to click on that button. Now that changed our HSL sliders to a section that says B and W, which stands for black and white. And you see that it has all of these individual colors here, even though this is a black and white image. But what we can do is we can change the brightness values for each of these colors. So I can find the oranges in the image. My skin is predominantly orange, most skin tones are. And if I move that to the left, it makes the oranges darker. If I move it to the right, it makes the oranges brighter. What I want you to do is to go through each of these little color channels here and experiment with moving or adjusting the brightness values for each of them and seeing how it makes corresponding changes to your images. There's other things you can play with as well. Like I said, I encourage you to mess around, see what you can do in Lightroom. There's lots of fun stuff, but the important thing is to make it black and white and to mess around with the brightness values of each color channel. The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring it into Photoshop and we're going to add your subject's name to the image. Before I do that, I want to crop out the little buttonhole on my jacket. So I'm going to go to this little grid looking thing. This is my crop tool. I'm going to grab the corner, move it up. We can grab the top corner, move it down as well. Just get a little bit closer of a crop to this image. Crop out any distracting elements on it as well. So to get it into Photoshop, because we can't add text in Lightroom, what we're going to do is we're going to right click it. We're going to say edit in. And then just as you already may have guessed, we're going to go to this very first option, the one that says edit in Photoshop. You might get little pop-up windows that say stuff like this. Whenever you do that, just make sure you're editing the copy with your Lightroom adjustments on there, and then you can click edit. If you wait a brief moment, that should bring up your image into Photoshop. Photoshop has a slightly different interface than Lightroom does, but it's still not very difficult. We will play around and explore all the different aspects of Photoshop. But all we really want to do right now is we're going to go all the way down to our type tool, which is this guy. It looks like a capital T. I'm going to click on it. And from here, we can just add in all sorts of different pieces of type. I want you to add your subject's name to the image. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to make my font a different color. Let's make this Nice vibrant yellow. I'm also going to make it larger. You can when you have your type tool selected at the top, these are all different aspects of your font that you can change. Let's make it larger. You can go larger than 72 as well. You just have to type it in manually. And you can change your font too. There's lots of fonts that you can select, modify, and adjust. I'm going to go with this one for now. And then if you want to change what it says, you can just highlight it once again with your type tool and then type out what you would like. Where it said lorem ipsum, we just call that placeholder text. If it's not in a spot that you want it to be, you can switch to a different tool. Like this one, this is the move tool, and then you can click and drag it to put it in a different spot. For this one, if I want it to be a little bit larger, I'm going to select it again by clicking and dragging with my type tool, and then we can change this. Let's try, instead of 100, I'm going to type in 130. Ooh, maybe let's go even bigger. Let's try 160. There we go. We want it to be nice and big. And then once again, if I want to move this, I'm going to go to my move tool and move it wherever I want it to be. We don't really want to cover up their face, but do what you feel like works best for your particular image. So I'm going to put it right down here at the bottom. The last step to this is to export our image. So we're going to say File, Export, and then Export As. That brings up this little or big window. We're going to keep all the default settings, and I'm just going to hit the export button down there at the bottom, and then you can give your okay, once that is up, all we have to do is change the name of the file that we are exporting. So for this one, we're just going to call this black and white portrait assignment. Select where you want it to go. I'm going to put this in my pictures folder, and within there I'm going to make a new folder that says assignments. And then click save. Now if you go to that folder on your computer, which let's do that, I'm going to click the folder icon, click on pictures, and then look for assignments. You should find the JPEG that you just created with the name that you gave it right there. This assignment is now ready to be turned into Canvas. And the cool thing is, if I go back to Lightroom, that picture's still there. If I didn't like that edit on it, I can just hit the reset button and it will go back to how it originally was. Or it should at some point. Anyway, there we go. That's it for this video. Good luck with this assignment, everybody. Make sure to ask me if you have any questions. Thanks and have a great day.